Alright, welcome back to another modern video. Today, I've got a Semblance Anvil combo deck. You may remember this as an expiring Spike Brewer that was playing Tron before. And I was kind of looking at it with the two new lands that can make 2 mana. And I think there is a decent chance that it's just not necessary. I think this was always a little bit awkward with the Tron lands because you want a lot of mana, but you're not playing cards that are too expensive. Your engines are really based around Semblance Anvil and Mystic Forge, and to a lesser extent Karn. And these are 3 and 4 mana, not necessarily you know necessary to have Tron to cast those types of cards. And cards like Ugin's Labyrinth and Phyrexian Tower can get you to 3 4 mana a lot quicker than sitting around trying to assemble Karn or Trons, excuse me. And then this also gives, you're also able to play for Urza Saga in this deck now. I'm playing Darksteel Citadels as a way to reduce the cost of these 7 drops, which we're playing for Ugin's Labyrinth, and there are also, just reasonable cards to sacrifice to Grinding Station. If they're in your graveyard, you can get them back with Scrap Trawler by sacrificing any artifact. And I'm also padding out my creature count a little bit by playing some more moon vessels. I mean, these can allow you to cast a 4-drop on turn 2, and then they can also generate mana. If you've got a Semblance Anvil, you can cast this for free and then sacrifice it to gain a mana. So, pretty excited to see how this one turns out. And yeah, let's hop into a league. Won the die roll here in game 1. It's kind of an awkward hand with just 1 land, but I think I'm gonna keep it. I mean, it's hard to turn down a Semblance Anvil. Okay, so my opponent has a Devourer of Destiny. I'm gonna get this star down. Hopefully that can find me some lands. See what they exile here off the Devourer of Destiny. Wonder if this is a slower build of Eldrazi, faster build, maybe an Tron type build. But it looks like if they were looking for something specific, they didn't find it because it seems to be a decision point for them. I think for my hand, I think definitely the best draw here would be if I can find a Phyrexian Tower. That would guarantee that I'll be able to play a Semblance Anvil on 3. And if I draw a land, I could also play Karn and then just hold off on the Anvil for a turn. One thing that's kind of nice about the Eldrazi deck is there's not a huge amount of interaction. With a lot of colorless lands and Eldrazi that are casting, there's not too much room in the deck for interaction. So hopefully I'll be free to combo off a little bit. All right. So it looks like it is a fully colorless Eldrazi Tron list. They actually exile an Ugin's Labyrinth and the Eldrazi Temple. It's kind of an interesting one there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and crack this, see what I draw here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get the Mirror Retriever down. It's going to be a lot easier to cast the, find an extra mana to cast the Moon Vessel. And my opponent does have 7 mana next turn, which is kind of awkward into this Devourer of Destiny. Oh, I guess exile target permanent is 1 or more colors. Well, in that case, I think I'm probably safe to just Semblance Anvil here. It's a bit awkward without anything really to cast into it. Honestly, I think what I might do is I can Semblance Anvil, pitch Moon Vessel. Then next turn I can Semblance Anvil, pitch Karn, cast Karn. think it seems pretty solid to me. I can go ahead and get in for one here. Let's get this down. Exile that. Alright, do your worst, opponent. Hopefully they're planning on casting the Devourer of Destiny here. If they have like a Karn Liberator or something, that would be pretty bad for me. But if they just cast a 6/6, then might be able to get something going a little bit. So if I do that next turn, I can play Karn. I can grab. I could grab a Ravager potentially, and just use that to get back the star draw card. I could also just grab a copy of the One Ring and then just plan to the turn after start going off. Yeah, I think I would be nice to try to cast something. I think it all kind of it does hinge a little bit on drawing something this turn. There's definitely, if I draw like a Mystic Forge or something. Oh, okay. Casting their own Karn is pretty bad for me here. Turns off. It's actually even more brutal than things were in the past against a Karn, since um, my Darksteel Citadels don't tap for mana now. Yeah, one thing about this deck is Karn is very, 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 very good against it. I I think really the only way to get out of it is to have some of the Mirror Enforcers. I'm gonna go ahead. How many? Because he could have potentially just plussed on my Darksteel Citadel. I'm gonna go ahead and attack here. See, there's a chance I could fight down this Karn, but it's looking pretty bad. So there's a decent chance I'm just moving on to game 2 here. Definitely, pretty much the only plan really you have against Karn with this deck is just to try to race. I mean, like I mentioned before that they don't necessarily have interaction, although it looks like they are playing the Trinisphere Chalice deck, which is very bad for me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pack this one up. Wow. If they're playing, I've seen a list uh, that was playing 4 Chalice, 4 Trinisphere, and that would be very bad if that's the case here. Like it seems like it is. So I'm gonna just hope to combo off very quickly. I mean here this is kind of what I'm looking for, right? It's I'm going to get a bunch of mana. I'm just gonna go ahead, cast this, and then I guess I can crack the bauble after they do their Devour stack. So next turn, I can go like double Wellspring or Wellspring Retriever. Probably it comes down to a Wellspring Retriever. Okay, interesting. So they actually chose to put none of them on top. So that is interesting. So let me see what they actually do have on top now. Urza's mine. Hopefully that's not what they were looking for. Bubble, I think, is pretty good in this deck as just a one-of, since it can really stack up if you get a scrap trawler going, because it guarantees that every artifact that you sacrifice will bring back a bauble. Oh, they're just dismembering my mirror moon vessel. That's interesting. It's a pretty good play, I think. I mean, they know I'm trying to combo off, and they know that that would give me a lot of mana. So I don't hate that play for sure. Which means I'm probably going to be just casting a Mirror Retriever here. Drew a Mystic Forge and another Mystic Forge. Okay. So I'm going to play this. I mean, if I draw a land next turn, I can cast a Mystic Forge. Let's see, they got an Expedition map, so they'll have Tron next turn. I'm really going to have Tron next turn. Double map. Did not draw a land. So I'm going to go ahead, sacrifice this. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab the Moon Vessel back and cast this to draw a card. Drew a Karn. I was really hoping to try to find a land, but this will let me potentially Karn or Forge next turn. So they've got Tron now. Let's see if they have anything, or they're just going to crack the map. I made Chalice on one. Sure. That's fairly good against me, but not super crazy. This is interesting. I can actually probably just going to I can so I can play sacrifice Moon Vessel. I have 4 mana. I can play Karn. Then next turn, and then I can plus on Chalice. Pretty close here to being able to combo with the Retrievers. Let's see, does that... How much does that help me to have Karn play? I mean, I think it's probably going to be correct. I don't have too many 1-drops, but I have enough that I don't really want to have to deal with the Chalice, and getting Karn down to stop their artifacts and also get that going for next turn is pretty good. So they just cast their Devourer. I've got a Frogmere Enforcer. Not the best draw here. I think I'm just gonna go for a Semblance Anvil though. Let's see, grab Semblance Anvil. Fortunately, I have to legend rule this tower. So keep the new one. Cast Semblance Anvil. I'm going to... Let's see, I'm pretty... I'm going to be able to cast 1, 2 artifacts. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it still costs 1 mana. So I'm just gonna go ahead and Exile that. Okay. And I can even block this Devourer of Destiny um, with the Mirror Retriever. Oh, nice. They just scoop it up. Cool. I mean, I did just have them dead if they couldn't disrupt this, since I can go fetch Alter Dementia and just win the game that way. All right. Well, that was a great turnaround after how game one ended. So hopefully we can back that up with a win in game three as well. I mean, and Phyrexian Tower looking great there. Mirror Moon Vessel plus Tower was really the only reason I was in that game to begin with. Despite even legend ruling the tower, it's like, well, it doesn't really matter if you just cast your spells anyway. Also, kind of funny to have the the all colorless deck as tech against the Devourer of Destiny. So they just have a seven mana 6/6, which does, of course, once upon a time, but much worse to cast for sure. Got a lot of soul lands and not many ways to actually get 2 mana out of them. But I think it's enough to keep. I mean, if I draw a 7 mana card, I can Labyrinth. I can turn 2 Mer Retriever, and then start trying to go off a little bit on turn 3. Okay, it looks like they're gonna have turn 3 Tron. Hopefully that does not mean that we're just dead. Oh, it doesn't. Looks like not turn 3 Tron. That's pretty sweet for me. I'm gonna play Labyrinth here. Unfortunately, cannot get a imprint on that. But I'm just gonna play Mirror Retriever, and then that will kind of set me up for a Phyrexian Tower turn next turn. Potentially just casting Mystic Forge. Okay, so it looks like they'll have Tron next turn. They have a Dismember. Okay. So they are delaying their Tron. I mean, they could still have 5 mana next turn, which is enough for a Karn or something if they want to go that route. Fortunately, still no 7 drops here. I guess in this case, I just have to play this again. The saddest couple of Ugin's Labyrinths you ever saw. So, but I can probably just go ahead and cast the Scrap Trawler. It gets me going a bit with this Phyrexian Tower, and then I can um, start looping things as well. Also, fairly decent against Karn. They can't -2 without losing their Karn to Trawler. So it's definitely something to keep in mind for the future here in terms of, you probably want to keep the Trawler around as much as I can to kind of force them off of Karn if I can. Looks like my opponent is considering that possibility as well. They go for it anyway. They just plus? Okay. Frogmere Enforcer would have been really good last turn. Fortunately, does not do much this turn. But I can get a hit on Karn, and I think I'm just gonna go ahead and cast Mystic Forge here. And Legend Rule my towers. Kind of get this value engine in play. Sojourner's Companion. Again, would have been really great with when I had a Labyrinth in my hand, but that is... I am a little light on 7 drops. I'm only playing 8, whereas most decks are playing 10 to 12 from what I've seen. But I think that's just a kind of natural consequence of how this deck has to be built. And for the most part, I think it's this deck relies less on a turn 2 Labyrinth than other decks might, where you would be still very happy with a turn 2, turn 3, turn 4 Labyrinth that's imprinted. But definitely comes out to be a bit awkward, when you end up in a situation like this. And, frankly, the deck is not that great at actually casting these affinity creatures as well. Like, I mean, even right now, they cost 5 mana, and you can kind of go off a bit once I get going a bit more, but it's not easy for sure. So my opponent is I wonder. It seems like they probably don't have too much of a big payoff in hand. That I would assume that would make their decision points a lot easier if that was the case. Okay, yeah, just going for a Cityscape Leveler here makes a lot of sense. And honestly, might be enough to kill me here. Do get a Myr Retriever back. Kind of funny interaction there. Karn taunting me on 1 mana there. Let's see. If I play Retriever, that's kind of all I could do. I could Retriever into the Wellspring. But I guess that also doesn't really get me anywhere. So probably what I'm going to do here is just cast a Wellspring and see if I can draw a land. So I really do need to get something at some point here. Didn't find it. Maybe it would have been better to just land cycle this. Oh no, because I guess that would grab only a Darksteel Citadel, and obviously that's pretty bad against Karn on the other side there. Okay, they've got a copy of the One Ring. A lot of mana. They're killing my Scrap Trawler, which does make sense. Cityscape Deliverer is a really good card. I think that gets underrated a lot in Tron lists. Chalice on 2. Do have a lot of 2-mana artifacts. And I think with this, I'm going to have to scoop it up. Kind of a rough matchup with the Karns and everything, but definitely winnable if we had hit a 7 mana card earlier for these labyrinths, I think things could have changed around. But overall, we're moving on to game two, or match two, I guess. All right, coming back for round two. Hopefully, I will not be playing against a Karn deck this time. And this hand looks pretty sweet. I can Ugin's Labyrinth to play and then play a Moon Vessel, and then next turn I can cast a Karn. Seems pretty sweet. Opponent just plays a Beseiju. Oh wow, and even a second 7-drop. That actually goes kind of crazy here. So I'll cast a Moon Vessel. So next turn I can actually have 5 mana, and so I guess it will kind of come down to what I end up wanting to do with Karn. Looks like another Tron deck. Kind of a slow hand for Tron though. Let's see. I could Karn plus Star. I could Karn for Needle. I could Karn to just set up for next turn. I think if I'm just setting up for next turn, then I'll just play. I'm just gonna play another Labyrinth here. And then yeah, kind of go from there. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab a Semblance Anvil. Get in for one. Sure, that's gonna be very big this game. Very important. I kind of wonder why they kept this hand. They aren't able to, they had to go turn one Beseiju. That's usually kind of a hand that you would want to get rid of for Tron. All right. So let's see. I could Karn for Stone Brain, but let me see if I can. If there's anything I can grab here that would let me combo a bit. Let's see. I could grab a Ravager. Could return a my Enforcer to my hand to exile that with Semblance Anvil, and then I go sacrifice Mirror Moon Vessel, cast Semblance Anvil, pitching that, grab Arcbound Ravager, cast Ravager, cast Scrap Trawler, cast Chromatic Star. I think that might be a little bit too fancy. Why don't I just go ahead, grab a Stone Brain, get rid of Power Plant, and yeah, hopefully just win the game that way. Let's see what my opponent has in their hand too. Kind of inform my other plays. Urza's Power Plant. Looks like they have a Sowing Mycospawn, Oblivion Stone, and 2 Worm Coils. Looks like the rest of their deck seems like a pretty normal Tron list. Just playing Karns, Kozilek's Command, a couple Sowing Mycospawns. Fair enough. I guess that must be why they kept, just hoping that the 4th land plus Mycospawn would be good enough. So I think in this case, I'm just going to go ahead, play the star here. Did draw a forest, so I can Mycospawn, grab a land, and then potentially if they draw another land, cast a Worm Coil, but I don't know that I necessarily care too much about that. Okay, found a grinding station. Grinding station plus scrap trawler is not too bad. It's kind of interesting. So let's see. I'm trying to see how I could put down the Semblance Anvil. And I think the main thing is I'm gonna just grinding station and sacrifice this star. See what I can mill. Another moon vessel. Okay. So that kind of answers the question of what do I pitch? So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead, sacrifice this, cast this, exile this, and then not going to do that. Can do that. I've got 1, 2, 3 artifacts in play. Gonna go ahead and just plus Karn. Might end up trading for the Mycospawn here if it attacks the Karn. Because that would allow me to get, I would trade off and then I would be able to get the Wellspring back, which is a draw 2. Yep, coming in a Karn, so I'll block. Go ahead and grab a Wellspring. See what my opponent's got. They do have a 1-ring, so I will not be comboing them this turn. However, I do have, if I can go deep enough, I do have a Aetherflux Reservoir that I could just do on their upkeep. Okay, another Semblance Anvil is not bad. Does me that's something that I can use to loop trawlers. So I'm gonna sacrifice this. Just draw a Sojourner's Companion. Do want to untap and a Darksteel Citadel. Um, so yeah, so I can go ahead and cast this, exiling the Sojourner's Companion. And then, so if I grab a Strap Trawler, I can cast that to mill until I find a. Oh man, I cast that until I find a Mirror Retriever. Is there a way that I would be able to find the Mirror Retriever and then get a Scrap Trawler back with it? I could get a Scrap Trawler back, but I want it to be in play because then when I, along with the Scrap Trawler, because then that actually starts gaining me cards. Um, I think the only way that happens is I would have to sacrifice a Semblance Anvil, um, which actually could work. Okay, so I'm gonna go for it. Let's see where this goes, I guess. So I'll grab a Scrap Trawler, cast that for free. Oh shoot, actually, it does not work. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead. Actually, here's what I can do. I can cast one of these guys, then get back a Scrap Trawler. Yeah. Okay, so let me grab the Frogmere Enforcer, cast it. Now I will sacrifice that, get back a second Scrap Trawler. They get to draw a card. So if they have a Dismember or something that could... Wow, did they actually... Oh, no, okay. The way they tapped mana, I was like, no. Um, they're just cracking the sphere. Okay, so I got a Mirror Retriever. So I can cast this. Mill myself. So I get a Mirror Retriever back and the Wellspring. So let me start yielding to stuff. Always yes. So let's do this. I guess want to get back a chromatic star. That's a couple of the great creators. All right, I'm just gonna sacrifice this the normal way. Found an Urza Saga. This ring protection is pretty awkward. Because I can mill myself, but I don't actually have a way to get Karn back from the graveyard. I guess what I need to be doing is I can get back Mystic Forge, and then that will let me get a bit more going on. I did mill another Karn, so I've only got one left. Which is pretty awkward. Let's exile that. Got another Mystic Forge. Okay. Semblance Anvil. Okay. Guess I'm probably not gonna do that. I'm gonna land cycle this. Do that. Also does clear my deck. Get a bauble. Mirror Retriever. Okay. I think that's as far as I'm gonna go here. Next turn. Oh man, I think yeah, I think as long as they don't have another ring, I can combo next turn. And even if they do, oh sorry, I can still activate another Mystic Forge too. And then that way, if I can find my last Karn, then I can just win the game on the spot. Looks like my opponent might have left for a little bit while I was comboing. I did take a while doing that, but fortunately they did not F6 the turn. They just they probably did F6 the turn, but they have a floating mana, so they can't. Okay, there we go. Okay, I do another Mystic Forge, so let me keep casting. I'm chilling. Okay. Cast. Another Mystic Forge clears the top of the deck. Okay. Hey! It's Karn! It's Karn! So now I can sack this, get 3 mana, and get a Darksteel Citadel back. Cast Karn. Minus Karn. Grab the Reservoir. 23 spells this cast this turn. Pretty good. Alright, they scooped that up. Nice! That was a pretty sweet kill. Took forever, and not gonna have time to do that, to take that long every match, but That was a pretty sweet build your own kill with everything going on there. Um, let's see. This hand is pretty awkward. I think I'm gonna mulligan this. Doesn't have fast mana and it also doesn't have any card draw. Okay, so this one I can keep and I'll put back a Frogmere Enforcer. Reveals a Devourer of Destiny. Card is pretty sweet. It comes to getting Tron going. They do put a card on top, exiling Kozilek's Command and Ulamog. Urza's Tower, do Sphere, Classic Tron. Okay, so I can exile a companion, and I will cast a Grinding Stone, I think. Could get punished if I draw um, a Phyrexian Tower, but I think there's a greater chance that I will want to imprint Mirror Retriever onto Semblance Anvil than I want to imprint Grinding Station onto Semblance Anvil. Semblance Anvil is just, or Grinding Station is just a very good way to unlock the potential of things like other Mirror Retrievers and Ichor Wellsprings and all that stuff. So, um, Beseiju is a bit of a setback, but not too bad. And I mean, this is actually very close to a combo kill now. If I can, I guess I need one more land and another artifact, but Semblance Anvil, two Mirror Retrievers, and a Grinding Station just kills. As long as they don't have an OG Eldrazi in their deck, which I don't think they do. Um, and either way, it's kind of funny. They can, if I do mill three, I can mill three at a time until like I like what I see in their graveyard, I guess. If they didn't have Tron already in hand, I could mill until they didn't. I mean, I'm gonna cast this. If I draw a land, then I just win. Assuming that, I mean, I guess assuming that they don't have like a Karn or something, that would stop me here. There's this power plant. See what their follow-up is. Nothing. Maybe a big Kozilek's command then. Wellspring is a pretty good draw here. Draws me two, and on top of that, it gives me something to get back with Retriever. Oh my gosh, I actually could have won last turn, I think. No, because I cast the second Mirror Retriever last turn, so did not miss a win there. Wow, and still no lands. And I'm assuming that they're kind of holding up a exile things from graveyards Kozilek's command. I gotta imagine that they're going to be using that here. They can exile. Well, they could exile cards if they wanted to, or they could just make a bunch of spawns and scry deep for a Karn. Oh, I guess they just have a Karn anyway. It's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Ugin's Labyrinth. Imprints the Devourer. Got 7 mana. Let's see what they can grab here. Honestly, I mean, even just like a Worm Coil would be pretty bad for me. I'm thinking, because yeah, I can attack Karn with the Retrievers, but they're really not. I mean, they can't even kill him, even if he doesn't have a blocker. They cast a Vexing Bauble. Yeah, I think that will likely do it. Um, I've got 1 mana. Still haven't found another land. I'll give it one more turn. See if this Karn, if we're able to stop this, or able to stop this Karn from going off. It looks like they're using the Kozilek's command now. Okay, I think I'm gonna pack it in. Try to get this one in game 3. All right. Luckily, we do get to be on the play here for game 3. And yeah, I mean, this is a keep for sure. Turn 2 Semblance Anvil seems like a keep to me. So let me start off with a bauble. See if I can get a little bit of information here. They did not have a Devour Destiny. Oh, Expedition map on the top is not what I would like to see here. Alright, I will exile that. Cast a Wellspring. Draw a couple cards here. 2 more lands, not great. Glad to have one more, just in case they have a Beseiju for this Labyrinth. But 2 more is not great for me. Okay, Karn is pretty good though. So I guess the question is, do I scrap Trawler or Semblance Anvil? I think I'm just going to Semblance Anvil here. I can Semblance Anvil this turn, and then next turn cast Karn plus get something and cast it. Like for instance, I could grab a Arcbound Ravager. Could also potentially just grab, you know, grab One Ring, try to set up something along those lines. Mirror Moon Vessel. So let's see if they're F6'd. They are not. Grab a mine, makes sense. Let's see here. I think I'm probably gonna grab a Ravager here. See if that gets me what I need. If not, because I can draw a card. It also lets me, use this Moon Vessel for an extra mana next turn. And if I don't get what I need here, then I can grab a One Ring next turn. So I potentially have 3 mana to play with, depending what I draw here. I got a Mirror Retriever actually. That's pretty big. Okay, I mean I'm down to draw a couple more cards. Oh, and a Grinding Station? Okay. Oh, and a Mystic Forge off the top. That's pretty cool. Always yes to that. Alright, so can't quite cast this Mystic Forge. But next turn should be a pretty good turn. Assuming that, and I also have a decent amount of Karn protection here if they have one. So they do have a Karn of their own. So no more activated abilities for me. They -2. Let's see what they grab. They could grab a Vexing Bauble, which wouldn't be a bad choice. But I can answer that. So I will attack down, because I can attack down Karn, then Karn for Haywire Might, and then exile the Bauble. Oh, actually I can't. Huh. They go for a Disruptor Flute instead. Which I think is pretty good for me. Also funny that it does turn off his own Karn, but oh, he turns off grinding station. Okay, well that mm, seems a little redundant, I guess. But and the honestly, if he had cast a Vexing Bauble, I would have had a very hard time to winning the game. But as things stand, I think I'm in really good shape here. So I can um, let's see, I can use the Haywire Might to clear the Disruptor Flute, or I can even just, if I get another Mirror Retriever, I can even just get an Altar Dementia. So let me cast this. I probably should have done that before I drew. I'm just going to always yield to that for now. Okay. You sacrifice an artifact. Do it again. Fizzling a little bit here. Okay, there's something I can cast. Oh, and there's another Mirror Retriever. All right, so that should be game. I guess probably it would be easier to just Karn for a Karn for the Reservoir and get the kill that way. So I can loop these until I have enough life to kill them. At this point, it's a pretty fast kill. Not a lot of clicks. Oh, that's funny. It's the Disruptor Flute. That's okay. I'm just gonna keep looping these guys then. All right. One more time. Pay 50 life. Deal 50 damage. And that's GG. All right. That was a pretty sweet match. Had a couple pretty awesome combos and got there. So going on to round 3. All right. We are on the play for round 3. Both with Gigantha. And this hand looks like a mulligan to me. This hand is pretty sweet. I can go turn 2 Karn. Yeah, I mean, not gonna turn that down. I can put the second Moon Vessel down. Opponent also mulligan. So far we have the same mulligans and same companion. I'm gonna start on Citadel to try and conserve information here. Now it is too late. Getting a Karn. Okay, so it looks like they're probably the Boros energy deck. Um, and then looks like probably not playing the White Orchid, obviously not playing the White Orchid Phantom and Boom Bust. So probably just cutting that package. So the interesting question here is what to grab next. I could see, honestly, I could kind of see just plussing here. Um, and then getting out of range of their 1 mana removal spells. Yeah, maybe I'll do that, and then I can kind of pick next turn based off of if I draw a land, then I'm probably grabbing a Semblance Anvil. If I, um, if they have something that I need to answer, I can grab an answer for that. Ren's Resolve. Okay. So maybe some kind of Boros. Um, Boros Storm deck. Boros Prowess. Okay. Well, with this land, I think I want to grab a Semblance Anvil. So I can Semblance Anvil, um, imprint, probably just imprint Retriever. And then that way I can find a grinding station, or I can next turn grab something off of Karn to sacrifice these Wellsprings, get 2 more cards. I'll find a Mystic Forge is really good here. And a land to cast it. Awesome. Okay, so it looks like it is some kind of storm deck. Got a lot of rituals. No Ral or Ruby Medallion yet. Let's see if they have one here. No, just more rituals. They could Past in Flames. They have it. Okay, they found a couple cost reducers here. Really hoping that that's not gonna lead into. Oh, they won the coin flip. No way. I think if they hadn't won that coin flip, there's a decent chance that I would have been able to win this turn. But since they won the coin flip, then I just lose. Wow, that's crazy. There's Past. All right. I will concede to Past in Flames. That was a bit unfortunate. Um, yeah, I think that one coin flip kind of swung that game. Maybe they had another spell they could cast to try to flip again. But this matchup is definitely just a race, just straight up. And now that I know what they're doing, I can fetch with Karn a little bit better to deal with that. Um, Tough part is it's like, I mean, I could grab Tormod's Crypt, but I don't even think it's that good against them. Because yeah, you could do it in response to the Past in Flames, but they usually just have so much gas that the Past in Flames is just a guarantee. Um, Rather than a necessity. Okay, Ugin's Labyrinth is nice, but I don't have a way to tap for two. I'm gonna mulligan. I just really need a fast start. And here I do not have that. Okay, I have probably about as good as it's gonna get. I can put back a Karn. Maybe do I just put back two Karns? Is that correct? Um, yeah, probably. Then I can play this. And then it'd be kind of sweet if if I drew a second 7 mana spell, then I could cast Mystic Forge right now. Just a Saga. Okay, well, I'll play that. Gigantha into hand. That's a big deal. Gotta get the Gigantha into hand. Okay, so he has a Ral for next turn. So let's see what I can get here. Get a Bauble. Okay, well. Getting a little bit of lag here. Um, okay, there we go. All right. Well, I think my plan is to cast a Mystic Forge, and that's it. They're drawing a Wish, which is, not very good in this specific spot, but something that they will need to draw at some point during the um, game. So definitely a scary one. Okay, so played two cards we knew about. And here come the rituals. Reckless Impulse. And I think they showed last game that they just have another Pyretic Ritual. Cool. They I think they showed last game that they have a Past in Flames in the board. They they just had three rituals in hand. Kind of brutal. Um, so they can wish. Oh, they just also have Past in Flames in hand. That's pretty wild. And then so their last card is Wish, and they've got enough now to do that. Okay, well, that deck is really insane. Okay, back for round four. Hopefully we can avoid any more storm mishaps. Um, but this hand looks pretty good. I mean, I've got a turn one Turn 1 active Labyrinth. Don't like the look of basic Mountain Pass. That definitely feels like a storm angle. But I mean, I did draw another companion for this Labyrinth, so I can. Yeah, it looks like another storm player. I think the best thing that I can Karn for here is like a Tormod's Crypt, since I can't actually um, cast anything else. Maybe next turn I can get a Chalice on 2 down. Pretty sweet to have a turn 2 Karn. Glimpse the Impossible. The only problem with a Chalice on 2 is it does also make my combo very difficult. So it's a bit of an issue there, but gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Another Glimpse the Impossible. Yep. Could potentially also just grab the ring. Whoa, main deck Orium's Chant. Interesting. He is planning to cast the Orium's Chant. He is Storm count 5. So if he casts one more spell, then he can win the flip and flip Ultimate Ral. Got a Wish. When he won the flip. Decides to wait for at least one more spell. See what he casts off the Wish. Wonder if it's going to be a Grave Shot. Galvanic Relay, okay. Setting up for next turn. Let's see what all he gets. Okay. Ruby Medallion, Orium's Chant, Desperate Ritual, Manmorphose. Another, just playing 4 main deck Orium's Chants? It's interesting. He gets 3 Eldrazi spawns. Well, I guess the question is, what can I do to still have a chance for this game? If I play a Semblance Anvil, that doesn't really do much for me. I could play a One Ring, but I think what is likely to happen. I guess I guess he would need to have an Orim's chant in hand to really lock me out, but I would assume that they probably have some way to get around the ring. Hmm. And then if I chalice on 2, it does cut off a lot of their plays, cuts off a lot of mine too, but I think that's gonna be the way that it has to go. Um, so I guess I'll start by casting a star. Let's see what I draw here. Okay. Nothing crazy. I think if I had drawn if I had drawn a grinding station, then I could have won. But no such luck. So yeah, I'm unfortunately just going to have to chalice and hope for the best. I mean, I really don't think that the ring is going to do enough here. Hey, and there's the win. All right. I wonder if they knew what was in my hand, if they would have scooped, but a scoop is a scoop, you know? They they win. All right. Yeah, I will be mulliganing this. They do not reveal Gigantha. Interesting. Wonder what that means in terms of sideboard. Okay, well, I'm keeping this. And probably just bottoming that. And let's see what my opponent has. Unfortunately, there's not too much that I can do here early. I'm going to do this. I can Moon Vessel this turn, and then next turn I can Labyrinth and make a Saga token. Phyrexian Tower would let me Mystic Forge. Ooh, is this a turn 2? Oh, it's just a Ral plus Ruby Medallion. Yeah, pretty good. And I'm getting set up, but not as well as they are. Okay. Elegant Parlor is interesting here. Hopefully means that they're low on things to do, though they did just surveil to the top. Okay. Oh my gosh, another Glimpse of the Impossible. Let's see what they get here. Honestly, a little bit of a whiff here. No rituals. So if they don't have one in hand, but they are putting a Past in Flames in the graveyard for next turn. And they revealed a Metamorphose off of the Reckless Impulse. So I get to make a Saga token. My opponent gets to make 3 Eldrazi spawns and set up a Past in Flames for next turn. So, Grinding Station. It's okay. I'm going to grab a star here. Try to redraw into something better than what I have currently. Wellspring. Wellspring plus Grinding Station is pretty good generally, but not going to be super helpful here. So yeah, I think I'm probably just dead, but I will get a Mystic Forge down. Do have a Karn on top, if such a thing will matter. Might as well attack with the Construct. So I guess the way that I win here is they lose 12 flips in a row with Realm Monsoon Mage. It shouldn't be too difficult, right? Yeah, probably. I got another ritual. Well, I can't cast spells anymore, which I wasn't really planning on anyway. I think I'm probably just going to pack this one in. I think looking at their mana situation, they've got, so they're going to have 4 mana plus they can Past in Flames. They've got lots more card draw as well. Let's move on to game 3 here. I think no need to sit through their combo when they've got, I would say, less than a 1% chance of missing. I mean, I think this is a hand I definitely got to keep. You know, I'd love to have a way to play Karn on turn 2, but I can get it down turn 3. I can start immediately casting some of these Wellsprings. It's really nothing I can pass up on here. So a classic Surveil land. Keep a card on top. See what I draw. Another Karn. For Wellspring. Okay. Go Saga into Moon Vessel. Next turn, grab a Karn. And probably going to be the same thing I did game 2, where I'm grabbing a Tormod's Crypt this turn, and then the turn after grabbing a Chalice for 2. Kind of unfortunate if that I didn't have more mana available to be able to have a better hit card, but at least have some disruption. They can't just totally go off. Okay, tap land is pretty good for me here. Means any rouse they play are going to have to start with a ritual. Because they found a grape shot, which is honestly pretty good because it's going to be, I would assume it's going to be tempting for them to go for that here to kill the Karn. But I've got more Karns in hand. There's a Ral. That complicates things a bit. Only 2 cards in hand. And here's the grape shot. Killing the Moon Vessel and the Karn. That all makes sense. Yep. I'm just gonna do that. Oh, that was from their hand. They've got a second grape shot. Wow, so they were actually pretty close to just killing me there, I think. Right? Like, they put about 6 damage into my stuff there. And yeah, I'm going to 11 here. Only 1 card in hand. All right. This Tormod's Crypt is doing work for sure. Okay, and another Wellspring. Kind of funny to get 4 of those. Yeah, I mean, probably just going to be grabbing a Chromatic Star here and see if I can draw a land. Did draw a land. That means I can cast another Karn and put a needle on Ral here. I believe that's what I want to do. So I want to put it on Ral Leyline Prodigy. And pass turn from there. Starting off with a Manamorphose. Sacred Foundry, untapped. Untapped is not a good sign. One card left in hand. Okay, and it's another Root Medallion. Hey, they scoop it up! This is probably the 4th or 5th time I've played against the Ruby Storm deck with various different decks. And the first time I won a match, so pretty excited about that. And let's go for round 5 and see if we can get the treasure chest. All right, back for round 5. Pretty good hand here. Got a couple Semblance Anvils, got a couple of lands that tap for 2. Let's see, Windswept Heath makes me think of maybe Nadu. gonna start. I think I'm gonna start off with a Wellspring here. Just get a redraw. Hedge Maze. We gotta assume it's a Nadu deck here. Okay, another Ugin's Labyrinth. Coiling Oracle. Okay, so this is actually likely a Flare of Denial. I believe that's the name of the blue flare. Well, I'm gonna go for. Actually, probably would have been better to play Saga here. Looks like a potential flare coming. They let it resolve. I'm gonna cast a Grinding Station now. That also resolves. Okay. Get a nice little redraw here. Okay, they just get a tapped Breeding Pool. Okay, Mer Retriever is a really good draw here. I'm gonna do this. Grab Wellspring. Flipped another Mer Retriever. So I'm just gonna keep doing this. Another Wellspring. And a Karn. Let me draw first. Well, wish I had milled first. Sojourner's Companion. Okay. Well, I will pass back with 15 cards now in my graveyard. Though unfortunately not much else going on. Delighted Halfling. So I think, I mean, I think it feels bad. Really wish I had played the Saga instead of this tower. But I think at this point, I'm gonna go for Karn for Scrap Trawler to get the Retriever back. I would be pretty surprised if they didn't have anything here, but I think it's what I've got to do to, make them have it. Oh, they're going for a Beseiju on Semblance Anvil. Okay. I guess in that case, I will mill you. Okay, so it is a Nadu deck. Oh, I guess I should have probably just let that die to get the land. I forgot about that. Yeah, it's a bit awkward. But I can Karn. Let's see. What would I like to Karn for? Um, Maybe just another Semblance Anvil. They can put my Karn down to 1, um, but I think there's a lot of things I can draw here. Like if I draw a Mirror Retriever or a Scrap Trawler, I could win potentially just by returning a companion to my hand, using that to imprint on Semblance Anvil, and then kind of going from there. See what they've got going on. Opponent is deep in the tank here. My guess, they're probably thinking of a Chord of Calling, which also makes sense with leaving this Oracle back. I mean, let's see. I can go. Um, that's kind of an interesting spot here, I guess. Probably going to start by. I should start by casting Semblance Anvil, and probably pitching the mirror here. I think it's kind of set on mana, to be honest. So let's do that. That did resolve, so I'm gonna go for a Scrap Trawler here. Does this resolve? It does. So now I can sacrifice this to get a Mirror Retriever back. Cast a Mirror Retriever. Sacrifice. Grab my other Mirror Retriever. Now, do they have a way to stop it? Okay. Save targets, since it seems like the loop is going through. If they were banking on a creature removal spell to save them, it's not going to. All right, and they've seen enough, decided to pack it in. Did see a Flare of Denial there. Um, but pretty exciting to combo off against Nadu like that. I mean, I'm assuming they had a chord in hand that they were waiting to use and weren't able to stop me. So that's a good win. Definitely great to be up a game since they're almost assuredly going to be boarding in a bunch of sideboard cards, whereas I have not boarded in a sideboard card all day. Um, but yeah, I mean that was a pretty well done game. All right, on to game two. I will dutifully reveal Gigantha. I've added to my hand him to my hand once this league, and that was it. It was not cast that game either. My opponent starts things off with a tapped breeding pool. They did not mulligan. Ooh, a Semblance Anvil is nice. I'm going to start off with a Wellspring. Let's see what I draw here. Another Wellspring. Okay, I mean, let's see. Okay, I've got a Coiling Oracle. Reveal a Nadu. Yeah, that's a rough one to know about. Well, let's see if they have a Flare. Doesn't look like it. See if we can draw get a chain going. Maybe a little bit of a chain. Grinding Station would be pretty big here. Oh, they flared that? They flared that, but they didn't flare my Semblance Anvil or my first Wellspring? That's very surprising to me. Huh. And a Hedge Maze. So no Nadu this turn. Do they have maybe they have a Boseiju? Coiling Oracle. Do they have another, okay, maybe another Flare then? They find a Boseiju, but it goes into play. Okay. Find a Karn. Interesting. I think I'm going to go for Mystic Forge here. Find a Karn on top. I'll exile that. See if I can find something to cast here. Okay, Force of Vigor. Pretty good. They're pitching their Nadu. Down to 2 cards in hand. Alright, well, next turn I can Karn. Karn probably just grab like the One Ring or something. 3 cards in hand for my opponent. It's like maybe more sideboard cards. If they have another Force of Vigor, it looks kind of sad into this board. Let's see if they have a Flare or something. Looks like they do. All right. Hold on, before I pass turn, let me play Boseiju. I mean, as it stands next turn, I'm probably casting this Retriever and putting Gigantha to hand. They find their third Coiling Oracle, puts a island into play. This Retriever should put a stop to their attacks, since I would love to be able to put this into the graveyard. Oh, Urza Saga is definitely a really good draw here. Definitely the best land that I could draw, that's for sure. Get a Retriever. And Giganta to hand. I'm really suspicious that they might have another force in hand, since they've had two cards in hand for a while now, haven't done anything with it. Shuko is suspicious. Really glad that they had to pitch a Nadu earlier. Wonder if they doesn't look like they have another one. I mean, if you're gonna attack, I will block and get a Mystic Forge back in my hand. Okay. Phyrexian Tower. Don't need a second Phyrexian Tower. Let's see the force coming down. It is. Though we do get to make a construct. So they waited for the Mystic Forge. And we get to exile a Phyrexian Tower off the top of the deck, which is nice. Let's see. Damping Sphere off the top. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, kind of in beatdown mode, I guess. I can, if I put Sojourner's Companion to hand, I have 5 artifacts in play. I'm thinking that Sojourner's Companion is going to be the play. Just put that back in hand and then cast it for 2 mana next turn. They draw a Misty Rainforest. I mean, I'm beaten down. You can draw a second one. What a silly game. I mean, I'm attacking for 12. What do you have? Okay. Endurance would have broken up my combo if that was something that I was going to go for. Get a Dryad Arbor as well. All right, let's see what they draw. Okay, redraw. They draw a Nadu. They did draw a Nadu. Wow. Wow, that's actually crazy. Oh man. The last possible second drew a Nadu. Well, they're going to get to draw a lot of cards. Found a Nantuko. I mean, I still have some good draws here. Like I could draw a Karn. Um, Not sure what else would get me out of it. Maybe it's just Karn. Opponent is wisely not paying 2 for their shock lands here. I mean, I guess they do have to. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. They have to. So they have to block everything, but it doesn't really matter because they can Nadu, Springheart, Nantuko, and go off again next turn. Well, didn't draw a Karn, unfortunately. To Fairy, I guess he can pick up his Damping Sphere. Okay. And then pretty much if he ever hits a land, then he wins. Mm-hmm. I'll wait until the first land is hit. Okay, there's a land. I'm gonna go ahead and pack it in at this point. I think. I don't think there's really anything I can do there. It's unfortunate. Almost had him, and just the last second drew Nadu. All right, well, hopefully we can get a similar hand in game 3, and that will help us get through this. So they had Flare of Denial, Force of Vigor, and Damping Sphere. Kind of a lot of hate, but I think there's we definitely have the ability to go off fast enough where the sideboard cards aren't going to make an impact. But we'll see. Oh, interesting. Kind of the wrong, got the wrong land here. But I think this is a keep. I'm gonna Saga turn 1. That can grab a mirror moon vessel, and then I mean yeah, we sacrifice that to the tower, get a bunch of mana. Let's get a redraw here. Another Saga. I'm gonna go ahead and play this tower. I'm just a bit worried that if I play 2 Sagas, then um, a Force of Vigor is just game ending. Opponent goes for a Hedge Maze. Coiling Oracle to the graveyard. Let's see what they've got here. Wow, they're really good at drawing Coiling Oracles. And ramped off of it too. It's pretty good. So let's see if they feel pressured to force this. They do not. I did draw an Ugin's Labyrinth though, which is kind of interesting here. So let's see, that's 4/6 mana, potentially. Um, so let's see, I could go for a Semblance Anvil, but I don't have enough to imprint the Semblance Anvil and the companion. So I think what I'm going to do is go for this, and then just cast a Mystic Forge. Okay, Flare of Denial. So I can play another Saga. Can try again on Anvil next turn. Opponent still has 5 cards in hand, which is a bit spooky. Their own Sagas. Harsh Mentor. Okay. We tech for the mirror primarily. Um, Interesting. I think I'm just gonna wait for a second here. Probably make a Saga token. Do take 2 damage off of it, but okay. Got another redraw creature. Fortunately, don't have any artifacts in place, so this Saga token would not be big enough to block the Mentor. And 4 cards in hand still. It's very scary. And a Saga about to go to chapter 3 as well. Alright. Do I want to grab that? A Moon Vessel, or do I want to grab a Chromatic Star? Probably a Chromatic Star. I think I need cards more than I need mana. So let's draw that. Get a Grinding Station. If it wasn't for this Harsh Mentor, I'd be pretty close to just winning. I think I'm going to go ahead and cast this. I guess I didn't need to do that. Could have used the screen. That's alright. So that, cast this. Nope. Cast a Retriever. Not do that. I think I'm just gonna pass for now. Alright, so I'm probably grabbing a Shuko here. And let's see if they also have Nadu. Oh, just grabbing Haywire Might. Okay. Yeah, that, for whatever reason, that was kind of off my radar, but makes sense to grab here. Plays an Otawara. Otawara also would have been pretty good, and they have a Nadu. Do they have a Shuko in hand then? They do have a Shuko in hand. Wow. Alright, I think that's... I'm just going to pack this one in. They can draw 10 cards there. Disappointing to end up there with a 2/3, but definitely a sweet deck. A lot of fun to try to combo off, and yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely some room here for optimization, but I've definitely liked these lands over the Tron lands, and was able to get some pretty crazy draws going. So I will bring it to the end of this video, but let me know in the comments if you like this deck, what do you want to improve, what you want to see next, and I will see everybody next time.